What's up, guys? So back out in the garage a little bit and just gonna kind of show what I've done to this bike. This is my new one, and I've got them all three in here now together, so they look pretty good, and the Yamaha's the odd one out over here underneath all my gear. But I kind of I'm liking the screen on here. I've got the new Buell over there, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I've got the new Buell, but I'm kind of liking the thinness of this one, so I'm probably gonna try to stay with this one for now and maybe fit the Buell later on. But as you can see, I've got the Buell headlights on here and got the Trail Tech completely mounted up the way I want, so now it's permanently there, and everything works on it. I'll go in and get the key in a minute, and I'll kind of go through some of the settings and show you kind of what it does. This is what it looks like in the off position. It just shows the clock, and then of course if you well, I guess I can show you without the key. Pretty much when you turn the key on, it just lights it up, and of course shows your indicator lights and stuff. But when it's just sitting here like this, I'll try to get that red dot off the screen. There we go. You can click the mode button and you can see, and it's showing the ambient temperature, which is 90 degrees Fahrenheit. There's three different screens on here by clicking this mode button, and within each screen you can change what it shows over here. So here it would show your RPM on a bar graph here, and then your RPM here. You can click this, it'll show your ride time. My last ride time was 37 minutes and 37 seconds. And then you can switch it back to, I think that's just a timer or something if you wanted to start the timer and that kind of thing. So the next screen, this would show your max mile per hour and your max RPM that you achieved. So right here it's 73.1 and 8,500 RPMs it was turning. And this is, I think, accumulated ride time. So I've rode, since I put this gauge on here, I believe that would mean I've rode a total of 48 minutes, which I haven't had it out very much at all because I don't have it plated or anything yet. So then again, it would switch back this way, would go to your odometer. By clicking this on this screen again, it would show your odometer. So I've got 14,015 miles on it. When you get this, you can actually put in your mileage. There's a special way of doing it. You can't just go in here and edit it. There's a special way of putting in a little code, and you can edit your odometer. So I pretty much swapped over the odometer from the previous gauges. So then hit the mode button again, and you'll go to the next screen, which would show your mile per hour and your graph, and then your distance from your last trip, and then a clock, just the normal clock. And then I don't believe this changes anything on this screen. It'll just turn your light on and off. But pretty much that's the difference. And then of course I didn't really show up here. One screen will show your ambient or your engine temp when it's got that light. That's my engine temp right now, which is pretty much the same as the garage. It's 90 degrees in here. And this is the max engine temp, same place that it shows the max mile per hour and max RPM. It'll show your max engine temp. So right now the max engine temp that it got to while I was out riding was 197, which it is pretty hot right now. It's pretty humid out, and that's not even enough to kick the fan on the bike. And then of course 240 I believe would be the boil over, and it's got the, and you can set those on here too. You can set what your low temp would be to throw on a temp light on here, which I think is set to the fan temp 204, and then you can set to the caution temp or something for the boil over temp, which is like 240 I think I set it to, which is all in the manual for this bike is what I actually set it to. So pretty much, and then switch it again and it shows the air temp up here. So two of them show the air, or actually one of them shows air temp, one shows the current engine temp, and one shows the max engine temp with all your other max settings. So that's a little bit about that. It's a really good gauge, and that's the same thing I've got on here. And I'll kind of switch over for a minute and show you the Suzuki. When I bought this one, this kit, this is the same kit for the SV650, and the reason I got it is because a lot of the parts that went on the SV will fit this bike, like the rotor bolt and stuff, and that's the reason I got it. But on this one, it doesn't have the engine temp, because when I bought it you couldn't get an engine temp with this one because of course this is an air-cooled motorcycle. But now they've come out with a part you can plug in. You can see my only one I don't have plugged in here is the one for the temperature. And on here now they've got one you can plug in, and you can actually put it on your spark plug. Alright, so before my camera cut out and said I had a low speed card and was lying to me because this is a class 10 card, I was kind of explaining this, but the problem with it cutting out on me was actually a lot of times after you've filmed a lot on your card, you need to reformat the card, and that kind of gets a lot of the defragmentation off of it, and it'll read it as a high-speed card again. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get this video finished before I have to go in and reformat it and clean up the card. But you want to reformat it in your camera if you're having that problem. Don't do it on the computer because it'll have the same problem. So anyway, I was explaining this one doesn't have the temperature because the one that came with this is for a liquid cooled bike, and of course when I bought it they didn't have the one for the air cooled. Now they've got one you can plug in that you put on your spark plug, and you want to put it on your inner spark plug because that's where the engine's going to be the hottest at, is in the middle cylinders. And pretty much you take the crush washer off of your spark plug and put that on there, and that's going to give you an engine temp reading up on the Trail Tech. And that's the only thing this one does not have hooked up right now. So you can see on this one the max speed on this one I've achieved is 105, which this is a pretty heavy bike, and I don't think the RPMs are correct because I still haven't got the RPM quite right on this. I thought I had it good, and it's still a little bit jumpy. So I'm actually gonna instead of wrapping it to the coil on this, and I'm gonna do it like my SV650 and actually connect it right to the plug if I can, because on there it reads a lot better when it's connected right to the wire instead of wrapping the coil like they suggest. But anyway, this one's pretty much the same, you know. I've not done an odometer on here because I don't know the original mileage of this motor, but right now I put 301 miles on it since I put the Trail Techs on here. But anyway, back over to the SV. So far, what I've got done besides the Trail Techs and the lights on it, I've replaced this gasket here under this cover, which is the clutch plate cover. I've replaced that gasket, changed the oil, put a new K&N filter on it, and you can see here I put in the splice. This is what your temperature goes to on the Trail Tech. It runs through this, which has a sensor. And put new coolant in it, and kind of got a mess of wires going on, but I really want to make some side plates. Like on a Buell you would have some covers here like a screen, and I kind of want to do something like that, but I'm not 100% that I'm going to keep this yet. I'm just kind of sticking with it for now. But let me think. Other than that, I've put a magnetic drain plug on it. And other than that, I've replaced the cable for the seat lock. So now instead of, my buddy had it rigged so you could pull it up underneath here, he's afraid it was going to break or it wouldn't work right. But now I've got a new cable, and you can actually pop the trunk with the seat now. So other than that, I've got new grips on it. I've got my gel grips that are really comfortable. They were the original ones on it, but my buddy wanted to take them, and I didn't have no qualms with that, so I let him have those, and I ordered some new ones just like it, so they're brand new on there. But yeah, I've got all the bikes in here now, and looking pretty sweet. So all of them run now. This one I'm just not able to take out for a ride yet because I've got the title sent off, and I'm gonna be plating it later on this week. So, but yeah, this one's got a Delcovic exhaust on it, and my other one's got a Micron. This one's got the full race exhaust, as you might have seen in some of my previous videos. This one's just got the slip-on with the stock headers, and everything on there is stock except for the tank mod, which gives it a little more air, which you can do that to any of them. But other than that, it's pretty stock, and it runs good. Nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't, it seems a little bit less peppy than this one, and I don't know the reason that is, but I'm probably going to order a complete carb rebuild kit for this. Of course, there's 2 carbs, but I'm going to order the rebuild kit for it, and hopefully that'll clear up some of that. But other than that, it runs good. It doesn't really, it has a little bit of I wouldn't even say surging. It's just you can feel it, and you can't tell with the motor, but you can just feel it when you're holding the throttle setting. It doesn't really jerk the bike or nothing. You can just feel it a little bit, whereas this one is completely steady, and it runs really good. So other than that, that's kind of what I've got done to it now. Hopefully I'll get some videos going on it soon about taking it out for a ride and maybe getting some drive-bys on it. I still want to do a drive-by on this one too, set up the camera somewhere and do a ride-by. You know, you can hear the exhaust on them and kind of compare them. Because this one, I think he told me was a 180 millimeter can, and I'm not even sure what model this one is because I bought it with this on here. I mean, it says all the numbers back here, and but pretty much all I can get from that is that it's stainless steel, which you can of course tell that by looking at it. Anyway, I'm going to jump off here before my camera says I have got a crappy card in it again and lies to me. So thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned.